Networking at an event. You know, some time ago we put up a video all about how to run a successful networking event as an MC or an event host. And I'll put a link to that up in the corner or in the description below. But many people have asked if I could share some of my tips on making the most of a networking event as an attendee. I found them massively useful for my career. They really helped me get some momentum, especially early on. I'll run through some of the specific organizations and the types of organizations that have worked for me in the past. I'll give you some tips and strategies on how to make the most of your time. But it's not just formal or organized networking events. It also applies to networking in your workplace, in your community, where you can hear about opportunities and possibilities, how to help you advance your career and build your network of contacts. They go hand in hand together. They apply in both areas. I did a lot of networking early on. It kind of terrified me, but I did get better and better at it. The first organization is the International Special Events Society. They're involved in putting on big events and some smaller ones, but I met a range of people there. In fact, I did a couple of presentations for them myself. The second one is the Meetings Industry Associations. Now, there are different chapters of different kind of industry groups all around the world. But if you look up Meetings Industry Association, these are what we call the PCOs, the Professional Conference Organizers. They might have their own small business where they work with other companies, or in fact, they may work for a company as their conference organizer or events organizer. There's two big bodies, the International Association of PCOs, and they are worth searching up, and also the ICCA, the International Congress and Conference Association. It's another big organization. And the third one, and probably the one that I got the most value from, was the National Speakers Association. There is a National Speakers Association in most countries. They call themselves different things, but they come under the Global Speakers umbrella. If you look up Global Speakers, you'll be able to find that association. These are professional speakers, other professional MCs. They usually have monthly or quarterly meetings. There's quite a bit educational content there, but you'll meet some great people, get enthused and inspired, but you'll make some good connections and get some good referrals. Now, as hinted at, I always suggest that you concentrate on one at a time. Find the one that's starting to click for you and really concentrate on that one. Get on the committee if you can, which I did with the national speakers. This will get you up on stage. You'll get seen. You'll get to meet everyone. So dive in deep and get involved. Now, like a lot of things we talk about here on Expert MC, we can divide this topic into three parts: the preparation, the event itself, and of course, the follow-up. So in the preparation, and I suggest you grab a sheet of paper, put down these questions, and then think about the answers later on. Have a brainstorm around these questions. But I want you to be very clear about why you are attending a networking event. What are you hoping to achieve? What's going to happen after the event? You see, most of these events are paid events. You will spend some money to actually attend. There may be an educational component to the meeting or the event, but most of the time you are just there for the networking. So is there somebody specific you would like to meet at the event? Is this a specific person? Or is this a person in a specific role? Or perhaps you want to meet somebody from a specific company. Also, be quite clear about what you can offer in return to them. Now, the next thing you want to know, is the event going to be a match to your purpose? Are the people who are going to be there be the type of people that you want to connect with, that you wrote down on that list? Now, luckily, the internet has made researching events a whole lot easier. Events are often promoted on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook, on web pages, etc. And sometimes you can even see photos of prior events to really get a feel for how the event is run or how formal is it, etc. You can even get a bit of a rundown on the dress code, how people will be dressed at that particular event. Now, social platforms also sometimes show a list of the people who are interested in going or are definitely going. How cool is that? You can actually research some people, find out a little bit about them before you actually attend the event. And you can also add your name to that, so people say, oh, I've heard of you, or I've seen your website or your social pages, etc. Last little bits of preparation, make sure you've got some business cards and some pens. You want to be able to jot down some notes on the back of their business card if you promise to send them something, or meet up, or etc. You also want to be able to dress appropriately. The dress code is usually in the information about the event. And I will also always wear a what's it. Now, this is an idea from Leo Lowndes, whose book, How to Talk to Anyone, is great. I'll put a link to it in the description below. But a what's it is something quite interesting that you wear. It might be a badge, a tie pin, or some interesting glasses for the gents. Ladies might have a special brooch or a scarf or something like that. And people will often gravitate to that. That's fantastic. Or tell me about the brooch, etc. You want to find out the theme of the event, if there is one, and the cost. You want to know how much it's going to be to attend the event. Now, two more things. I like to prepare an anecdote about my work, something that encapsulates what I do and some of the challenges I face, and I try and make it a little bit funny. So it's a casual version of the elevator pitch. An elevator pitch? Yes. Do prepare one, but don't use it all the time. And if you do, make sure you take some time with it. There's a danger with elevator pitches, and I see it all the time. People they rattle them off, and they sort of lose interest halfway through. The classic structure for an elevator pitch: I help such and such do such and such so that they can such and such. I'll put some links to that below, and a description of my elevator pitch there as well. At the event, there's three things that I always like to do. One is to listen more than I talk. Number two is to be in the moment. Don't be distracted. Don't start scanning the room for finding the next person you're going to talk to, or find a specific person. Be in that moment. And thirdly, make an effort to remember their name so that you can use it in the conversation or when you end up the conversation. Here's a couple of great open-ended questions I also like to use. What's keeping you busy? Now, they can answer this in different ways. They can tell you what their business is doing. Oh, we're working on a big campaign to repaint the Harbour Bridge, or whatever it is. Or secondly, they can say, oh, I've just come back from a great holiday and, I didn't want it to end. And they want to talk about that in a more casual way. Now, second one is, oh, where are you from? It's the same. They can answer it in whichever way they want, and that can steer the conversation into a more connected way. They might say, oh, I'm from California. I came to Australia 4 years ago and never left. Or they might say, oh, I'm from the finance department at Dobbs, Wigan, McCann & Erickson, etc. So they want to get straight down to business. I sometimes ask advice in that conversation. Now, you might know, how would I get in contact with the artistic director of such and such, or who organises the events at your place, etc. Now, another one to dive in deep and make that connection. What are your big challenges at the moment? Or who are you hoping to meet at this event? And see, you are listening more than you're talking. You're getting information from them, which creates that connection. Lastly, don't be afraid to finish the conversation. You're all there for the same reasons. It might be a formal event where they ring the bell and you move on, or it might be a more casual event. You've had a little chat and you say, well, great to meet you, and finish up the conversation. They'll appreciate it just as much as you will. And lastly, the follow-up. Networking doesn't finish just because the networking event finished. Hopefully you met some lovely people and you collected up some business cards, and hopefully you made a few notes about how the conversation went or what you should do to follow up. I always try and schedule a little bit of time following the event, either the next day or during that week, to actually do that follow-up. It's great to send them an email, say, lovely to meet you at the event. Here's the link I mentioned, or here's the article I wrote some time ago, etc. And if you're a LinkedIn user, this is the perfect time to connect in that day or so after the event. LinkedIn wants you to have actually met somebody or know somebody before you connect up on the platform. But here's the great thing. Once you've connected to somebody in a company or an organization, it's far, far easier then to connect with others in that organization. Perhaps the person that you really wanted to meet, the sales director or the marketing man, etc. And also, you follow that person on LinkedIn, and they may well move into a different business, different organization, and you can do the same thing. I kind of call it my sniper and spread technique. Another LinkedIn technique that you can use, and this is how I usually do it, is I try and spend 2 sessions a week, one early in the week and one later in the week, and only about 5 to 10 minutes for each session. I try and connect with somebody new. I try and be involved with a couple of groups or forum type things that are there on LinkedIn. And thirdly, I like to comment on some of my connections posts. Now, don't do this in a kind of a stalkerish manner and do it every time that they post. But if it twigs with you, if it connects with you and you think, oh, that was quite clever, just put a little note there. They will really appreciate that, and it builds that connection. And lastly, if you promise that you're going to do something, to send something or do something for a person, make sure you do it, and try and do it in that time frame of about 7 days after the event. Hey, I hope you've got some value out of this. We do have a book, a little mini book on networking. It's called Not Working, and it's available as part of our mega bundle. I will put a link to that in the description below. And lastly, if you would like to watch the video all about how to run a networking event, well, you can watch it right now. I'll see you in the next video.